Jeff Hafley is taking his talents to South Beach. Who's going to be bringing their talents to the frozen tundra? I appreciate you calling me sensitive when I push back on you and stuff. I want you to be, I want to be crystal clear on this. I find it irritating because you make it sound like I'm some sort of rube that because he's good with the media, I think he's a better defensive coordinator than he is. That is how it sounds to me.
I understand. I understand, and I know there's nothing you like being less than a rube. So, Barry Rubin, strength coach back in the day. And as a matter of fact, I saw him. He's on Buffalo's staff. Well, he was on Buffalo's staff until McDermott got fired. No, all I'm trying to do, too, and listen, man, you have blind spots, too. Like, don't be pointing out my blind spots without you knowing that you got blind spots, too. And the bottom line is, everybody likes people more and will give them a little bit more if they like them as a person or they help them with their job and whatnot. And the bottom line is, some coaches, he was fantastic in front. That deal he did before the Bears game, and he slammed his hand down. That was
Turned
awesome.
out to be wrong.
Didn't work. But
Oops.
I just want to make sure, and you're correct in your assessment, that I am always looking for, there's a little overcorrection here. And, again, crystal clear, because I know everything we do now is sound graphed and everything else. So I am crystal clear here. Joe Barry was not the same. He is not as good of a defensive coordinator as Old Boy was. Okay? I just want to be crystal clear. But I'm also saying this wasn't, from a numbers standpoint, this was not Rex Ryan, Buddy Ryan, Johnny Ryan. Like, it just wasn't this, oh, my God. I thought this defense was going to be all-time dominant after watching the first 2 weeks, because they were. And then they went to Cleveland and played a dominant game, but it didn't work. They got beat. But they still played good ball. By the end of the year, and of course Micah Parsons being hurt them. No blank. You take your best player off of a unit, it's going to hurt you. But what happened against, I keep saying Tennessee, Baltimore, and what happened, that is also part of Jeff Hafley's story that I think maybe he got a little bit of a pass on because people liked him and they thought that this defense was maybe better than what we thought. That's all.
I will have, because I am curious, 2023, Joe Barry's defense finished 10th in the NFL in scoring defense and 17th in total defense. So that is one of those numbers is worse. One of those numbers is better. In 2022, they were tied for 15th in scoring defense and, again, 17th in total defense. So those were, I don't know, I don't have his 2021 numbers in front of me, but statistically, when you combine his 3 seasons, I do believe statistically he was more than a little bit worse than Jeff Hafley's defenses were for 2 years. Now,
no doubt.
Who's next? Now, you said the other day, and I saw this got sound graphed, even though I was said very clearly that I was guessing. Jim Leonhard.
Yep.
Jim Leonhard is still coaching his Denver Broncos. He is the assistant head coach and defensive passing game coordinator for Sean Payton.
He's the assistant head coach?
He is. I did not know that either.
That's a big title, no?
It is,
That's
yes.
a big boy
I agree.
Title.
Okay. The defensive coordinator there is Vance Joseph, who has been interviewing for some head coaching jobs. He was the head coach in Denver once upon a time, right?
Yeah,
he came back.
Yeah, I like that career arc.
I respect that.
Yeah, I like that career arc.
A ton.
That shows he's got humility. He's got humility.
Absolutely.
But he wasn't a good head coach. Why would they give him another job somewhere else?
Because a lot of guys are really, well, I mean.
Robert Saleh.
Wasn't either. Exactly. On the same page. I said at the time that
if Robert Saleh was 60 pounds overweight, is he getting that head coaching job in Tennessee? No, I'm being dead serious.
I want to be very clear. I know you're being serious.
Okay.
And I do think, much like if you're good in front of the media makes you a better candidate, if you're fit and good looking, that also makes you a better candidate. Mm-hmm. How many fat guys have gotten head coaching jobs lately?
Green Bay wants a fatter head coach and not as good looking. It's funny. It's always you want the oppo. I'm telling you, Bob Saleh ain't getting a second head coach. If he had gained 70 pounds while he was out from his Jets job and had like a big old tire, he ain't getting another job. He could be a defensive coordinator, but he ain't going to get the head job. I'm telling you, I feel fairly confident about that. All right, continue.
So Jim Leonhard is being discussed as a candidate for a variety of defensive coordinator jobs, theoretically including the Broncos if Vance Joseph gets a head coaching job somehow.
So I would tell you this, and this is no insider information. Vance Joseph, if Packer fans want Jimmy Leonhard, I don't know, Jason, you could find this out. Is Matt LaFleur open to revisiting the snubbage that he got last time? Is he a grudge holder like you, or is he Jimmy Leonhard has grown and I'd love to have him again because I loved him the first time and I'd love him again?
He was ready to hire him.
Because that is the – well, I know, but now Woody after snubbed.
Right.
That's something you could find out.
Well,
what I would tell you
I would just quickly add this,
Sure.
and then you can say what you're going to say. I don't know how he feels about that. I know he was irritated at the time, but again, you can't – although some of us may be grudge holders and aren't very good at moving past them, in the NFL, if he's the best guy and you hold the grudge against him over him turning you down the last time, then shame on you for being that obtuse. If he's the best option, you hire him no matter what he turned down previously. The floor is again yours.
So if we want Jimmy Leonhard to be the next defensive coordinator here, and I know there's a lot of Badger Packer fans that do, and count me in that camp. I watched Jimmy Leonhard with a defense at Wisconsin that was not overly talented, and you know what I always saw? Guys developing and overachieving, and you got the way our linebackers played and our defensive backs was fantastic. Fantastic. And we out-schemed people. Now, could we keep up with the Ohio States and the talent? Yeah, it was a little bit of a test, and sometimes we didn't pass, but that was not schematic. That was the problem. If you want Jimmy Leonhard, you're going to need, I do believe, Vance Joseph to get a head coaching job. Or to not get a head coaching job and to stay in
Agreed.
Denver. If he gets a head coaching job, I do not believe he's going to be available. I believe he would be the defensive coordinator for Sean Payton. And he also obviously has ties back to Harbaugh. So I don't know who the Giants are hiring, but that would also, I would think, be in play.
And the Jets.
But if we're being honest, Jimmy Leonhard is as Wisconsin's going to get.
Agreed.
Loves the place. He's got obviously. So if and when Matt LaFleur decides this is something that he is open to, I think that could be something really fun. But that has to be on his side of it, because I do believe Jimmy Leonhard will be a defensive coordinator sooner rather than later. And I would hope that that opportunity would be in Green Bay with a really great amount of talent. You mix that with the scheme and some of the stuff that he learned and obviously has implemented at places he's been, that's got a chance to be pretty special.
Yeah, and there should be carryover because both Hafley and Jimmy worked for Mike Pettin, so he's one of their combined influences. He influenced both of them.
Sure.
I also think it's important to point out that at this time 2 years ago on this program, none of us were talking about Jeff Hafley.
None.
And none of us saw him as the hire. He had some NFL coaching experience with Tampa Bay and with Cleveland, but he had coached mostly in college, including as a head coach at BC. So the obvious candidates may not be the only candidates. Some of the people that did interview the last time are among the candidates again. And then there's also Matt LaFleur's personal connections that I want to get to. We'll get to a few of those coming up, one in particular, as we continue this discussion. But look, I think the world of Jim Leonhard. Then we'd have another defensive coordinator that I really like. I actually have history with him, and I love that idea. For me, media starts with me. Count me in. I hope Matt LaFleur's not a grudge holder, because I think not only would he be a good hire, but I would think he was better than he actually is, because he'd be great with us. Speaking of being great, you had a great weekend on Prize Picks, you just said. Unless I'm reading this wrong, it's time to tell us about it again.
Yeah, a good weekend for Old T, and I can't wait to see what little fun things Prize Picks will have in store for this weekend's games, and, of course, the big game, which is almost here. And there's no better way to cash in during America's biggest sporting event than Prize Picks, where, boy, it always feels good to be right. And Prize Picks, easy to play daily fantasy. It's the easiest way. You can build a lineup in under 60 seconds, pick more or less on at least 2-player projections, watch the game with more excitement. I tell you, Stroud, they gave you that one. It's lovely when they give you the free one. Then you just have to kind of piece around it. I went with a little 3-piece nug this weekend. A tailback for Seattle. Old boy gets hurt. Other old boy, beep, goes off. Sammy Darnold, his oblique sore. I'm going to go less with his passing yards. So happens it worked out beautifully. What are you shaking your head about, old boy?
Just trying to figure out who the tailback was you were talking about.
I think it's Walker.
Kenneth Walker?
Kenneth Walker had 3
Charbonnet.
touchdowns. Yeah.
Charbonnet got hurt, unfortunately for him. You know what? This season, early payouts, if your lineup gets off to a hot start, you have the option to cash out before the game even finishes. Download the Prize Picks app today and use that code WI. You get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Again, that is code WI for the great state of Wisconsin. Get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good
to be right. More defensive coordinator candidates, including a few that have reportedly already scheduled interviews with Matt LaFleur. We'll talk about him next.